Get ready for the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Welcome, everybody. As you can tell by the music, it is the official WrestleMania 28 preview and prediction show, episode number 111 for March 29th, 2012. This is the show we've been counting down since the beginning of 2012. For some of us, it's been almost an entire year of counting down to get to this very show. This is the third annual WrestleMania preview show. We've covered WrestleMania 26, 27, and now 28 during our time here on the Still Real to Us show. I am the champ, Jeff Peck. Welcome. Joining me this week to cover every single match of WrestleMania 28 to prepare you for this Sunday in Miami, Florida. Redneck Revolution, please rise, because it is Captain Obvious. Captain, how are we, buddy?
I'm doing really good. And if you think about it, really, you could actually say this is the fourth year that you and I have been involved in this, going back to the original Wheelhouse 4 years ago when you and I first met in person.
That is true, yeah. You and I, back in the Bauer Show and the Wheelhouse podcast there, we covered WrestleMania 25. Actually, you and I were in studio together. We did a little WrestleMania trivia show and talked about WrestleMania. Then the night of WrestleMania 25, I was in studio. And I think, if I remember correctly, you were like giving out the results of the show, which were in the chat room back in the old Blog Talk Radio days, and then Bauer was relaying it to me on air, made fun of me. And I specifically remember you saying Rey Mysterio defeating JBL in like less than 30 seconds to win the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that was such a memorable WrestleMania moment. I'm sure that everybody just like harkens back and just goes, I wonder where I was when that happened. It's just ingrained into your memory, the whole Rey Mysterio JBL lovely beautiful match from San Antonio.
It is ingrained in our minds, and I specifically remember that one match because 30 seconds was quite the surprise. And if we even go back a year later, WrestleMania 24 time, Captain Obvious, for all those that have been on the ride with us since 2008, this show started in 2010, but I've known Captain since 2008, EA Game Show, I'm sure we were doing something, whether it be the wrestling trivia show that EA Sports used to do called Fight Night. I'm sure something was going on right around WrestleMania 24 season.
Yeah, I think that was right when I first signed up with Game Show. I think Fight Night was like in its infancy. I think it was like the very first week we even did that, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was kind of, if that wasn't the first week, that was definitely like the precursor to what ended up coming later on.
For all those who don't know, I mean, I've explained it briefly on shows that Captain's been on. I probably brought it up the first time Captain did the show with me on the Still Real Test show. Was Fight Night was something that EA Sports had as part of their game show. It was called EA Game Show. That's where I met Mike Bauer and Chris Cause that I do the Wheelhouse with, as well as Captain Obvious. It was a wrestling trivia show, and it was probably the most popular section of EA Game Show throughout its short infancy there. So amazing that nobody's ever tapped into having some sort of live online wrestling trivia show. But nonetheless, I digress. It is WrestleMania 28 season, Captain Obvious. Before the show, you and I were both mentioning that we will be watching the show live and in separate places, but in the same restaurant. We don't get money for this at all, but you and I both will be watching WrestleMania 28 in the friendly confines that is Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, and the sad thing is, I recently read online somewhere that Buffalo Wild Wings is actually considering dropping WWE pay-per-views, but I don't see why they would do that, because I know every major every major WWE pay-per-view, they're packed. I know one year I was in Vermont, like last Royal Rumble, not this past January, but the year before, I was in Vermont watching it from Buffalo Wild Wings, and they were packed, and they said usually on Sunday nights they don't do nearly the business they do when they do wrestling pay-per-views. So I hope they continue on allowing wrestling fans to watch it from a very comfortable and very fulfilling, figuratively and literally, location like they are.
Yeah, I enjoyed it last year. It's the only time I've watched a wrestling pay-per-view that's not in my house. WrestleMania is pretty costly, and unless I'm having a WrestleMania party at my house, which I'm not, because I have no friends. No, I'm just kidding. I do have friends. Don't worry, guys. It's all cool. But I go to Buffalo Wild Wings. You eat a meal. It's like, I don't know, $15-$20. If you're like me, paying for your girlfriend as well, it's $15-$25, and you sit there and for 4 hours with your buddies, drinking some beers, eating some wings, and watching WrestleMania. And the atmosphere that I experienced last year, and a little tidbit here, I watched it from the Stamford, Connecticut Buffalo Wild Wings, just here in the shadows of Titan Towers, WWE headquarters, and it was a blast. I had a good time, and called into the Wheelhouse. Somewhere there on YouTube, there's the Wheelhouse making fun of me calling in from the WrestleMania 27 party. So looking forward to it this year. WrestleMania 28 should be a lot of fun, Miami, Florida. And like I said, start off the show, this is one of my favorite shows to do of the year. If I had to put a ranking of what shows I really enjoy doing on the Still Realta show every year, it's got to be the WrestleMania preview show, the Thursday before WrestleMania, like we are doing today, the Thanksgiving special that we do every Thanksgiving, and our end of the year shows to wrap up. So this is one of my favorite shows to do of the year. Feedback that I've gotten from fans that listen to this show, whether you just started listening to us recently via WrestleChat.net or CamelClutchBlog.com or other various means, this is one of our favorite and highly popular shows, which is great to see, because this is the only pay-per-view we do this is the only pay-per-view that we do a year where we devote an entire show to break it down and go over. We don't do it for the Royal Rumble. We talk about all the other pay-per-views at the end of the show. ROH pay-per-view, pay-per-views from time to time we talk about. TNA pay-per-views once in a while we talk about. But this is the show that gets the dedication because it is the granddaddy of them all. It is the Super Bowl of wrestling, and it is WrestleMania 28. And, Captain, before I get into a couple questions here of where matches should be on the card before we get into every single match, Monday night, I was watching Raw Super Show, and for the first time, I got bit by the WrestleMania bug where it finally felt like WrestleMania season to me. And it's had its moments, but this past Monday night while watching Raw and seeing all the news going up on WrestleChat.net throughout the week and all that good stuff and the blog I wrote for Camel Clutch Blog predicting WrestleMania 28, Monday's Raw, I mean, it wasn't the greatest show to kick you off into WrestleMania, but it made it feel like WrestleMania season to me. Now let me ask you, did you get the same feelings, one, or did you start getting that WrestleMania bug a little bit earlier than I did?
It's kind of been it's been one of those like illnesses that kind of come and go, like it's kind of like a lingering cold for me, in the sense that like something will happen and I'll get excited, and then the last few Raws haven't really got me going, because it's not like the main event supposedly is Rock Cena, and it hasn't got me going until watching what happened last night. It's been this like kind of playful give and take going back and forth. And the last night they kind of amped up the intensity, and that helped, and then, finally, I think, what the crazy thing is, the whole Team Johnny versus Team Teddy match, when they finally revealed who all is a part of the team and how it all played out, that's what actually really got me hooked last night.
Really? That match specifically got you hooked for WrestleMania season?
Well, with the Miz doing the run-in, and taking out Santino and him being announced, and, then Booker getting up and him being, helping out, and him being announced, to me, you had to have the Miz somewhere at WrestleMania, because just from where he was at last year, having Booker come back, we love seeing the older guys at least have small parts. Seeing Booker being a part of Team Teddy really kind of got my juices flowing. It kind of made it feel like, yeah, that's right, because this is what WrestleMania is. It's the generational battles. It's seeing some of the all-time greats come back. And as much complaining as I've done over the last month and a half with, two of the main events featuring guys that we haven't seen in the ring in at least 6 months, if not longer. It really got the juices flowing last night. For some reason, I finally just let it all go and said, you know what? WrestleMania is about this.